Welcome back. Over the last 7 lessons, we've built a comprehensive picture of how memory works, how it forms, how it encodes, how it retrieves, how you can improve it. Today, we're going darker. 'Cause memory is not just unreliable in the ways we've already discussed: false memories, constructive processes, context traps. Today, we're talking about the ways memory operates completely outside your awareness. The ways your feelings, your preferences, your judgments, and even your votes can be influenced by memories you don't know you have. Let's get started. Part 1. Classical Conditioning: the memory you never know you have. We're going to start with a concept you probably remember from high school psychology: classical conditioning. Pavlov's dogs. Bell rings. Dog salivates. But classical conditioning is not just a laboratory curiosity. It is happening in your life right now, shaping your emotions and preferences without your knowledge. The core idea: classical conditioning creates powerful, unconscious associations between a neutral stimulus and an emotional response. And crucially, this process occurs without conscious awareness. The implication: your feelings and attitudes can be manipulated through learned associations. And because you don't remember the source of the emotion, the effect is particularly insidious. You feel something. You have no idea why. Example: the perfume that haunts. A young man, David, dated a woman named Rachel for 3 years. They were deeply in love. Rachel wore a distinctive perfume, a blend of jasmine and sandalwood. They shared countless happy moments with that scent present: dinners, walks, quiet mornings. The relationship ended painfully when Rachel moved abroad. The unconscious conditioning. Unconditioned stimulus: Rachel's presence, love, happiness. Unconditioned response: warmth, joy, attraction, comfort. Neutral stimulus: jasmine, sandalwood perfume. Conditioning: the perfume is repeatedly paired with Rachel and positive emotions. Conditioned stimulus: the perfume now triggers those feelings alone. Conditioned response: warmth, nostalgia, longing, comfort. The real-world effect: years later, David is at a grocery store. A stranger walks past wearing that same perfume. Suddenly, David feels a wave of emotion, a mix of warmth, sadness, and longing. He stops. He looks around, confused. He cannot explain why he suddenly feels this way. The feeling seems to come from nowhere. He does not consciously think of Rachel. The perfume triggered the conditioned emotional response directly, bypassing conscious recall. Why it's insidious: David feels the emotion but cannot trace its source. He might think, why am I suddenly sad? Did something happen today? He may attribute the feeling to something else entirely: work stress, fatigue, the weather. The true cause: the perfume, operates below awareness. His attitude and mood are being manipulated by a learned association he does not consciously remember. Example: the perfume counters romance. A high-end perfume brand runs advertisements featuring beautiful couples in romantic settings, candlelit dinners, walks on the beach, embraces at sunset. The perfume is always present. The ads run in magazines, on television, and online for years. The unconscious conditioning. Unconditioned stimulus: romantic imagery. Unconditioned response: feelings of romance, desire, aspiration. Neutral stimulus: the perfume scent and brand name. Conditioning: the scent repeatedly paired with romantic imagery. Conditioned stimulus: the perfume scent alone. Conditioned response: feelings of romance, desire, sophistication. The real-world effect: years later, a woman walks through a department store and smells that perfume. She feels a wave of something pleasant, a desire, a longing, a sense of sophistication. She cannot explain why. She may think, that smells expensive. That smells like love. She buys the perfume, believing she chose it for its quality. The real reason? Conditioned emotional response. The perfume itself may be mediocre. The price may be inflated. But the feeling is real, and the feeling drives the purchase. The source of the feeling, years of romantic advertising, is forgotten. This is not manipulation in theory. This is manipulation in practice. And it happens every day. Part 2: Subliminal Priming, the influence you never see. Now, let's go even deeper. What about stimuli you never consciously perceive at all? Psychologists call this subliminal priming. Stimuli presented too quickly for conscious awareness, too fast for you to notice, can still influence your judgments, your feelings, and your decisions. Example: the happy face on the ballot paper. In a controversial election in a developing country, ballot papers for the incumbent president were printed with an extremely faint, almost invisible watermark of a smiling face behind the candidate's name. The watermark was detectable only under close forensic examination. Ordinary voters never consciously saw it. The unconscious priming. The smiling face activated positive associations: happiness, approval, friendliness, safety. Voters glancing at the ballot experienced a microsecond of positive effect. This positive feeling was unconsciously attributed to the candidate's name printed above it. The real-world consequence: thousands of voters, especially those undecided or low information, felt slightly more positive toward the incumbent. In a close election, this unconscious nudge could shift the outcome. And here's the truly insidious part. No voter could explain, "I voted for him because of the smiley face." They believed they made a rational choice. The manipulation left no trace. Voters had no awareness of the prime, so they could not discount its influence. They experienced their preference as their own, freely chosen. The election result was partially determined by a graphic design choice operating below awareness. The takeaway: unconscious memories and feelings can be activated to color our conscious judgments, potentially influencing decisions like voting without our knowledge. Part 3: The Illusion of Truth. Familiarity feels like fact. Now, let's talk about one of the most powerful and dangerous effects in all of memory research: the illusion of truth. Here's how it works. When you hear a statement repeatedly, it becomes familiar. And your brain mistakes that feeling of familiarity for evidence of truth. Even if you know the statement is false, repetition makes it feel truer. How it works: repetition creates familiarity. Over time, you forget the source, you forget where you heard it. But the statement itself feels familiar when you encounter it again. You unconsciously interpret this feeling of familiarity as evidence that the statement is correct. The danger: this effect makes rumors, propaganda, and misleading advertisements highly effective. The tactic relies on the audience remembering the claim but not the disclaimer, not the original deceitful context. Example: the 99% fat-free yogurt myth. A yogurt company markets its product as 99% fat-free. Claim is technically true by weight: 99% of the product is not fat. However, the product may still be high in sugar, calories, and artificial ingredients. The company runs television ads, print ads, and social media campaigns repeating 99% fat-free constantly. The illusion of truth. Consumers see the claim dozens of times. They forget the source, they forget its advertising, but remember the phrase 99% fat-free. The phrase becomes familiar, and familiarity feels like truth. Consumers begin to believe the yogurt is healthy, good for weight loss, or better than other options. The reality: the yogurt may be no healthier than competitors. It may contain as much sugar as a candy bar. But the repeated claim has created an illusion of healthfulness that persists despite evidence. The danger, when a nutritionist later explains that 99% fat-free is misleading, consumers may dismiss the correction. The familiar claim feels truer than the unfamiliar correction. The yogurt sales continue based on manufactured belief. This is why propaganda works. This is why misinformation spreads. This is why lies repeated often enough begin to feel like truth. Part 4: Neural Networks and Blended Memories. Let's return to a concept we've discussed before: neural network models of memory. Recall from Lesson 3, your memory is a vast network of interconnected associations. New facts are integrated into your existing knowledge. Strong, frequently activated connections shape your inferences. This is efficient. It allows you to make quick generalizations. But it also means you can confidently remember details that were never directly learned because they logically fit the pattern. Example: the wedding that blended two events. You attend two weddings in the same summer. Cousin Maria's wedding in June. Friend James's wedding in August. Both had outdoor ceremonies, similar catering, and the same DJ. The network overlap. Wedding associated with outdoor, catered, DJ, dancing, cake. The two events share many features, so their neural representations overlap. The false memory. Months later, you describe James's wedding to a friend. You confidently mention, they had that hilarious moment when the groom's mother gave a surprise speech. The truth. The surprise speech happened at Maria's wedding, not James's. But the overlapping features caused your network to blend the two events. You correctly remember a surprise speech. You incorrectly attribute it. Why it happens: memory is not a video recording. It is a reconstruction from overlapping patterns. When two events share features, their neural traces can merge. You retrieve a composite memory that feels real but is partially false. This is not a failure of memory. This is how memory works. And it happens constantly, invisibly shaping what you believe about your own past. Part 5: Non-cognitive factors, when your body hijacks your mind. Finally, we need to talk about something that has nothing to do with memory models or neural networks, but everything to do with whether your memory works at all. Non-cognitive factors. Your physical and emotional states profoundly affect your ability to learn and remember. You can have the best study strategies in the world. If these factors are against you, memory will fail. The key factors. Sleep deprivation. During sleep, your brain consolidates memories. Without sleep, that consolidation doesn't happen. You can study for hours, but if you don't sleep, much of that effort is wasted. Extreme anxiety or depression. Stress hormones like cortisol damage memory formation and retrieval. Anxiety consumes attentional resources. Depression flattens encoding. Your emotional state is not separate from your memory, it is integral to it. Drugs and exhaustion. Alcohol, marijuana, and other substances disrupt encoding and consolidation. Exhaustion mimics sleep deprivation. Your brain cannot do its job when it has no fuel. Poor physical health. Chronic illness, poor nutrition, dehydration all impair cognitive performance. Your brain is an organ. It requires the same care as your heart or your lungs. The lesson is simple but often ignored. You cannot think well if you are not well. The best memory strategies in the world will not save you if you are sleep-deprived, anxious, exhausted, or sick. Take care of your body. Your memory depends on it. Conclusion: the unreliable, powerful, extraordinary machine. So let's bring this together. 1. Classical conditioning creates unconscious memories that shape your emotions and preferences without your awareness. That wave of nostalgia in a grocery store? That inexplicable attraction to a perfume? Those are memories. You just don't know it. 2. Subliminal priming can influence your judgments, even your votes, through stimuli you never consciously perceive. The smiling face you never saw may have shaped your decision. 3. The illusion of truth means that repetition alone can make lies feel like facts. Familiarity is not truth, but your brain treats it that way. 4. Neural networks blend similar events, creating composite memories that feel real but are partially false. Your memory of that wedding may be a mix of 2 different days. 5. And none of this matters if you are sleep-deprived, anxious, or unwell. Your body and your memory are not separate. Care for one, care for the other. Memory is not a faithful recorder. It never was. It is a constructive, associative, fallible, powerful, extraordinary machine. It gives you your identity, tells you who you are. And it is wrong about the details more often than you know. This is not cause for despair. It is cause for humility, for curiosity, for paying attention. Your memory is speaking to you. Listen, but listen with skepticism. Listen with awareness. Listen knowing that the story it tells is not a recording, it is a construction shaped by everything we've discussed across these 6 episodes. Thank you for joining me on this journey through memory science. We've covered formation, encoding, misconceptions, retrieval, practical improvement, and now the unreliability that makes memory both fallible and fascinating. Be curious, be humble, and pay attention to the stories your mind tells you. Some of them may be true, some of them may be yours, and some of them were never there at all. See you next time.